Hey there, cosmonauts and cosmonauties, and welcome to another Slab City update. So yeah, the Muscovies, or the ducks in general, have definitely up their egg production since I added their new nesting boxes. And if you'd like to check out what I did do, you should go over to the Ecovillage Outlaw channel and check that out. Anyways, so yeah, been eating eggs on everything. Well, except for the Christmas week meat in your mouth. And you know, because the meat in your mouth lately hasn't been like big regular turnout sort of thing and things like that, and it was Christmas, I decided to go with tamales. And I figured the cool thing about tamales is once I got that steamer going, if more people show up, it's only 10 minutes away until I got another hopper full of stuff. But I only ended up needing to load the steamer one time, and there was plenty of stuff because I gave people a couple of tamales, and they had their choice of pork, chicken, or vegetable. So even the vegetarians had an option. And then paired that with some pinto beans, spicy pinto beans, and some rice. So a fair amount of people turned out for that. But like I said, only needed to load the one steamer. So timed that right. But I do have, you know, some tamales in the freezer that I can take out and steam myself up when I'm, you know, not wanting to cook a lot and things like that. So I'm glad to have them. But, you know, unlike the simple things like the tamales, my Christmas dinner was a little bit more complicated. And the dinner menu consisted of smoked prime rib, stuffed mushrooms, baked potato, and smashed Brussels sprouts. And let's not forget the deviled eggs. Should we? Farm fresh deviled eggs even. So yeah. Putting them egg productions to good use. But I have to thank McVie for the prime rib. She ended up getting one for her and her mom, and it was too big for the two of them, so she sliced it in half and gave me half of it. And I made that in that smoker. Again, go check out the Ecovillage Outlaws channel and learn how to make your own little Smoky Joe smoker. I mean, use so little charcoal to do it, but man, was it fucking delicious. And it was just me and Shiny. I figured I might have some of my stepchildren have it or whatever, stop by and they'd be like, well, we should go see what Coz is having. He usually eats pretty good. But nobody ended up showing up, which was quite all right, because then the next day ended up taking the leftover prime rib and making a prime rib sandwich, and then I made a French dip soup to dip that into. So yeah, that was leftovers from Christmas. How can you go wrong with that? Which brings us to the next meat in your mouth. And didn't make too big of a thing, but enough that, you know, I planned on having a big amount of leftovers, you know, a decent size, you know, serving of 8, something like that sort of thing. So made this butter chicken soup that I saw a recipe for, and it had spinach in it and cream cheese, and it just looked super good. And we did get some chicken patties from Ernie's last week, and so I just diced some of that up, marinated it in this butter seasoning, and it's a Indian butter chicken. Marinated it in that, and then added all that to the soup, and it was really, really good. But like a couple of Mondays prior, there was a actual fire that happened within eyesight of here, and it was the bookmobile over at the Ponderosa. So if you happen to have any spare books that you're not needing or anything like that, maybe you could send them to the Ponderosa at Slab City. I'll try to post an address below where you could send that to. They could sure use some help rebuilding that. And speaking of the Ponderosa, that's actually where I ended up spending my New Year's Eve. I went down there the other night for chili and got to chatting with some folks, and was invited down there. So I was like, oh, why not? Might as well. So went down there, hung out with Mac for a bit. Also hung out with Victoria. You may remember her from back in the day. Lipstick chick likes to call her Vicky. Yeah, that Victoria. And it was kind of cool catching up with her and hearing what they're doing out there now and their plans for the future as well. So that was kind of cool. There was a fair amount of trippy hippies there that evening. I did not partake, just wasn't kind of in the right headspace where I wanted to, and I had stuff that I wanted to get done the next day, so I declined. I did run into the young gentleman who gave me the black eye, and he greeted me with a hug, and people were like, oh, why didn't you hit him? Why didn't you hit him back? I was like, well, first of all, he's got me on age, he's got me on reach, he's got me on weight. Like, it would have been a losing battle for me, especially because that's all it would have been is like a battle. I ain't trying to end nothing, you know what I'm saying? So why put myself, and I was 3 sheets to the wind too, and I'm not used to that. So why put myself in that position? And, I am guessing that the fact that I didn't hit him back or anything like that probably hurts him more than had I actually hit him. So, yeah, And with that, that was 2020. And, yeah, that was definitely kind of an interesting year. And I'll call it interesting. I don't necessarily think it was a bad year. A lot of my friends came up. Shiny is going to be a dad. Just like all kinds of different positive things happen. So I don't really think that it was a bad year. It wasn't necessarily a good year. It was definitely an interesting year. But it is time to say goodbye. And I look forward to seeing what happens in 2021. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz.
Send Coz some money on PayPal so he can buy himself something to eat. Then he won't have to sell his body to Albanian men on the street. Where a broke hippie's living out in the desert, no money and no shoes. And he may smoke the marijuana, but at least he won't spend it on booze. If you enjoy Coz's videos with their off the grid